Hello and good evening to everybody, and I'm going to invite all of our presenters to turn their cameras on so we can do some very quick introductions. And what I'll do is I'll just indicate who the people are, because otherwise it takes a long time to introduce ourselves to you this evening. So Mrs. Devine-Costa is my vice principal. She's responsible for curriculum and safety and well-being for post-16 students, and she is very capably, she's very capably assisted by Mrs. Sara Ellison, who also oversees all post-16 students, and they work as a team. And also on this call, you've got Miss Anna Ravenscroft, and she too is responsible for day-to-day care of any students who come and join West Island in the 16 to 18 age range. We've also got Mr. Tim Collins, and Tim has a specific responsibility for something called our careers program, which you're going to hear about this evening. Then we've got Maria. Give us a wave, Maria. Thank you. And Maria is my personal assistant, and she's also our admissions secretary. So after this call, if you've got any questions about how you proceed with an application, then give her a call and she'll talk you through it. And of course, the most important people who are going to give you a big smile and a wave now are our students. There we go. And it's our students who we know you want to hear from, and they're the best of they're the best way that we can give you the information of what it's like to come to West Island and the story of how you get success for any future goals you might have. So at this point in time, I'm going to ask all our panelists to therefore turn off their cameras, and Sara is going to put up some slides for us, and I'm going to just introduce you to some of the school. And then Sara will talk a little bit more in depth. And then after that, we'll come back to the students and we'll have some real-time discussion about some of the opportunities. And Sara, I can't see any of your slides, so just giving you a little bit of a kind of maybe on your screen, it might not be visible. So I don't know if there's something that you can do to make those slides visible for us. There we go. Beautiful, thank you. And so I've welcomed you here this evening. You can see here the beautiful building that we have in Port Foulin. It's 31 years old, and of course ESF is part of the West Island School is part of ESF Foundation, which has over nearly 65 years of history in Hong Kong. There's 22 schools altogether, and we educate 19,000 students, and that's really our strength. And at West Island School, the thing we're very proud of is that we've got lots of choices for students, whether it's combination of subjects for the IB diploma program, combination of subjects for the careers program, the IB careers program, or there might be another group of subjects we can bring together to meet your students' individual talents and strengths. Again, the benefit of being part of a very large foundation with a big footprint in Hong Kong and having lots of connections into worldwide universities. Now, what's really important to us, besides what we teach your children, is the relationships we can build with them, how we get to understand young people, we get to understand how they create their own identities, how they get to think about what their passions are, what else they're looking for out of life beyond their formal curricular programs, and most of all, what their ambitions are. And that's what our dedicated pastoral team work towards. Thank you, Sara. And really the thing we're most proud of, beyond the academic success, being in the top 1% of IB schools worldwide for the achievements that our students get in that exam, is that actually they're fully formed human beings when they leave us. We have over 38 different nationalities of students, and there's incredible diversity in both culture and languages and ethnicity and nationality. And it's that we all enjoy working with at West Island School. Most of all, you will know that West Island students are compassionate and care about some of the big issues that are happening in the world. And it's that helps them when they go into university environments or school environments or other college environments. It's that helps them make connections, build their networks, and grow towards their future careers. And one of the most important things as an educationalist, which I'm really proud of, is that the IB education allows us to develop critical thinking skills. So our kids end up really, really unique in what they bring to the world. Just this week, I had 2 alumni visit the school. One of our alumni is a filmmaker in the US and was able to talk to us about wanting to come back and make connections with our students and provide some internships. She's just about to start on a major project. And I also had somebody come to us from Google who works in their hardware division and AI, and she's also come back into school this week visiting Hong Kong, wanting to connect with our kids to show them what they can become in the world and give them opportunities as well. So we're really blessed with fantastic resources, great group of teachers who know how to build relationships with young people, and this amazing curriculum that allows us to get the best out of each individual. Thank you, Sara. And so you'll see here just a range of opportunities. If your children are chess champions, if they're artists, if they want to work with the best professors in the Taiwanese university with a really niche aspect of physics, as Winston did when he was with us, whether it's being an ambassador for Hong Kong to welcome tourists back to us, whether it's working with the Hong Kong Academy of Talented Youth, which is where Amber has enjoyed success, we will build on the individual talents and interests of your children, because each one of them is really unique, and it's about how we bring that out and foster them for the future. So Sara, thank you. I'm going to hand over to Sara today, and she will talk more through how we're going to get the information we need so you can make the most informed choice for your children's future.
Thanks very much, Chris. I'd just like to remind everyone before I start speaking that there is a question and answer little tab at the bottom of your screen. So while we are talking, because we're going to give out quite a lot of information this evening, if you have got any questions, please pop them in there and other members of the team will get back to you on those. So I'm just going to cover the overview of what we're going to look at tonight. We're going to look at our exam results, which are simply phenomenal. We're going to talk to you a little bit about university destinations, and then really the sort of real beauty of West Island and the fact that we offer so many different pathways, so that we can enable all of our students of all sorts of different abilities and talents to thrive in our school, and we can really personalise the programmes that they study post 16. We've been talking a little bit so far in terms of building on what Chris said about the fact that it's not simply about the results that we're thinking about in terms of a factory at the end of the day, but really we've got the students in our school, and something that we really embody is this IB learner profile. So we really encourage all of our students to take intellectual risks, to be reflective on their learning, look at their strengths, look at the things that they need to work upon, really kind of celebrate critical thinking. And obviously we're a really diverse school, and we're very open-minded. One of the key things that I just wanted to talk to you about and highlight today is there is not one pathway to success. So I've just got some examples here of students that have studied with us, and Kimberly, Kai and Emily all studied business degrees at university, but they took different pathways at West Island to get there. So Kimberly did the bilingual diploma and the IBDP program. Kai did the IBCP program, which Mr. Collins is going to talk a little bit more about tonight, the careers program. And Emily did the ID, where we had some BTECs in the centre of her courses, and then she added some extra IB subjects along with them. We've also got some students this evening who are doing something which is really niche and really special about West Island, and that is the extended engineering programme. He was very successful, as all of our students have been on that pathway, and he went off to Bath to study physics. As well as sending students to university, we definitely are passionate about basically educating our students about the workplace and the way that it is rapidly changing. And there's some examples of students here on the screen who have gone into pathways that have enabled them to get lots of very specialist work experience, so that they are skilled in a very specific type of skill set for them moving on after West Island School. Lucas has definitely been back in to visit us, and we've heard a lot about how he's really enjoying the work that he's been doing. Obviously, we are really successful in terms of our examination results. They're there on the screen in front of you, but just to highlight again, we offer the bilingual diploma as well as the IBDP diploma of first language. We have got some phenomenal results in the last few years. Last year in particular, nearly half our students achieved 40 points or above. And also our BTEC results are fantastic. Now, for those of you that aren't aware of the way that it's graded, D stands for distinction, so that's the very top grade. So you can see how many students we had who achieved the distinction or distinction star, which is the very kind of pinnacle of the grading that they give out. I mean, just absolutely amazing, with that being 95%. And something which is just amazing is that last year we were in the top 1% of schools in terms of those IB grades. Another thing that we're very sensitive to is the fact that we have students who study all over the world. We send a significant number of our students to the UK, but there are also markets that are really growing, particularly Europe. We've seen a lot of interest in Europe in the last few years. Hong Kong has become very popular, and of course we are really experienced in sending our students to the US and Canada in terms of those pathways. Also, students pick Australia and New Zealand. So we've got lots and lots of support for students, no matter where they are applying all over the world. I'm not going to read through these, but you can see how impressive they are on the screen. There's just a few of the universities that we sent students to in the last few years. And really, I think the pie chart here is quite interesting. You can see some of the things that have been very, very popular with our students. And I think a lot of the popularity to these subjects like psychology, healthcare, law and the sciences has definitely had a links to what's been going on globally. So our students are taking notice of the world and they're stepping into university courses and careers that are linked to those global challenges that we are seeing. And here you can see it's not just about the UK. We have got students going to such a fantastic range of unis across the globe. We have university fairs, which are online at the moment, and we have lots of seminars and we have lots of Zoom calls with universities. So even though students have had difficulties with the travel in the last few years, we're still maintaining these links with universities and their reps and their admissions officers. So we are absolutely abreast of knowing what these universities are after. Tim is going to talk a little bit more about the IBCP pathway, the careers program pathway, but you can see that the caliber of universities that students are getting into are just top notch and really, really diverse in terms of supporting students with the range of passions and interests that they have. So if we go on to the courses, I'm just going to talk about the IBDP diploma to start off with. And at the end of me just talking about kind of what it looks like as a program of study, I've got a few students who are going to talk to you about what their experience has been like so far. So in terms of the overview, we have got two courses that come under the IB umbrella. There is the IBDP and then there is the IBCP. So in terms of the DP diploma, there are 6 subjects that we encourage students to take an option from, and you can see those displayed on the screen. We really try to encourage students to take one from every block because that gives them a breadth of critical thinking and study skills and really kind of keeps their mind alive over that 2-year period. At the heart of the IBDP diploma sits the core, and the core is made up of theory of knowledge, really a subject where we look at how we know things, what knowledge really is, and how we should question and how we should kind of investigate the world around us and the disciplines that we're presented with. Students also have the opportunity to study an extended essay of their choice. It's a really rigorous sort of task. It's a research project pretty similar to what you would come across at university. So it's really preparing our students really well for that academic rigor of university courses. So students pick their extended essay on a subject that they're particularly passionate about, perhaps even a subject they're going to study at university, or something like world studies, which enables them to put 2 different disciplines together for them to kind of investigate. Also, because we want the students to be well-rounded, we have the CAS, which is the Creative Action and Service Programme, which is run at our school, and there is just an enormous amount of activities that students can get involved in. Our students will talk a little bit about that later. So one of our just amazing strengths again at West Island is that we have such an amazing staff and we can offer so many subjects to enable students to really pick subjects that they are passionate about. Again, we're always looking at our curriculum. Next year we will be running food science and technology. That's a new course that we'll be running, and we basically are kind of really interested in student feedback and just making sure that we've got the courses that are running that students are really passionate about. So I'm just going to hand over now to a little bit of discussion with some of our students. I've got Gia here, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about her subject choices, and we've also got Arthur as well. So what you do when you pick your 6 subjects, you pick 3 at higher level and 3 at standard level. So perhaps it's the subjects that you feel more passionate about and subjects that you are interested in studying at university that you would pick at those higher level courses. So Gia and Arthur, could you pop your camera on for me?
Hi,
Hi Gia.
So
yeah, do you want to talk to us a little bit about what about when you were doing your GCSEs? How easy did you find it to pick those subjects or the course in particular?
well, my higher level subjects, they were pretty easy to pick because I just picked my favorite subjects. And I also looked at what my universities required for me to get into the course I wanted to do in uni, which I want to study medicine. So I require higher level biology and chemistry. But for my standard level subjects, they were a bit harder to pick, especially deciding which English to pick, English literature or English lang lit, and also choosing between Spanish ab initio, French ab initio, and Chinese B, SL. And also picking psychology SL was a pretty hard decision because I didn't pick psychology for the GCSE, but I was really interested in it, so I decided to pick it, and I don't regret it.
So Gia is a little bit different in her demographic because she hasn't picked one subject from 6 of the blocks. Because she has got a real passion and she knows that she wants to pursue medicine, she's taken the double science option. How easy has it been to do research on universities you might want to go to?
Well, there are many resources online, and my careers counselor at WIS has really helped me as well. And we've looked at different universities in the UK and Hong Kong, and we've looked at their websites, and it's pretty easy to find the requirements there.
And which subjects have you been enjoying so far, Gia?
Honestly, all of them, because I feel like in the IBDP, the content that we cover in the courses is more in-depth and interesting. So it really makes me a more curious learner. I genuinely want to learn beyond the syllabus, and I look forward to every lesson.
That's great to hear. Arthur, have you got your camera on?
Yeah.
Great. So can you talk to us a little bit about your decisions? Because I think you did think about perhaps going down a different pathway at the beginning to the IBDP.
Yeah, so originally I picked the IBCP, and then I realized that what I wanted to do was not sort of in that program. So then I changed to the IBDP, and something I really like about it is that it has that variety with all the 6 different groups. And I think that it really allows me to have a lot of different opportunities for me in the future.
And which one of your courses have you been enjoying so far?
I think I've really been enjoying psychology HL because it was one of my favorite subjects for GCSE. So choosing it for HL, it was a pretty easy decision.
And how have you dealt with the workload, balancing all of those 6 subjects, the CAS and thinking about TOK and the extended essay?
With the workload, I think that teachers have been really helpful with aiding and supporting me with working with doing the work. And I think the workload I've been able to balance it out.
That's good to hear. And could both of you tell me a little bit about what CAS you've been doing outside of the curriculum?
Yeah, I've participated in quite a lot of sports and volunteer activities in term 1. I've joined netball, basketball, and badminton. And I've also started new service and volunteer activities, such as teaching English as a foreign language to primary school students. I've joined the first aid team, and I've even run a book drive at school.
Wow. And what about you, Arthur?
Creativity is something that I really need in my life. So in CAS, I've done clubs such as Restyle, and I've also started a CAS that helps me make my own magazine. And then aside from that, I've also done quite a bit of service. Like, for example, I'm in Mother's Choice.
So if we, again, really impressive, if we've kind of got some students out there in perhaps year 11 or the equivalent in other schools across Hong Kong that are listening now, what would be your kind of advice that you might give to them?
Well, if you see something on the CAS website that you're interested in, definitely join it. It's really fun, and it's a great way to make new friends, especially if you're a new student. And it will really help you, expand your horizons and become a more well-rounded student. So try everything.
And Arthur, what about you? It could be about, doesn't have to just be about CAS. I love what Gia says about just try everything. That's a great motto. Any advice with picking subjects and things for post-16?
I think for picking subjects, take a look at the things you like. This course lasts for the next 2 years, so you want to be doing the things that you enjoy, things you're passionate about. So yeah.
I think that's really good advice. So yes, think about your strengths. Think about what you love doing. Don't kind of be influenced by your friends. Just think about it being your journey, and you want to have as much success as possible. Thank you so much, you two. That was really useful. Thank you. I'll ask you to just pop your cameras off for me now. Right, I'm going to hand over now to Tim Collins, who oversees the IBCP course at West Island. Tim.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot, Sara. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the IBCP and also the ID programs we do. The main kind of exam board behind those courses is run through the BTEC, which some people aren't that familiar with its basis in the UK. It's actually part of the UK's largest exam board, certificating over 1 million learners per year. So it's a hugely successful and accredited exam board. So we're really lucky at West Island School to be able to offer this IB career-related program. For me, as an educator, in my previous post in London, I was in one of the first schools to actually roll this program out, and it was a huge draw to come to West Island School and see a school that really believes in this program. And the success of the students in the very short time that I've been here, the last 2.5 years, is really quite remarkable. We mentioned the fantastic results earlier in terms of the BTEC results, but we're also seeing that these students are performing incredibly well in their IB subjects. So how does it work, the IBCP? The students choose one BTEC subject. We like the students, and you'll notice the word career in the program. We do like the students to think about something that they might want to do further down the line in terms of their career. So we have students undertaking a whole range of different BTECs, from digital design, which is a new course which has just started this year, which is a digital media-based graphic design course that's been hugely popular. We have business studies, which is a real kind of institution of the program, and I think globally is probably the most studied subject. And again, for students who are thinking about going on to do a business studies degree, maybe they have families working in business, etc. It's a fantastic course to give students a foundation of going on to those next steps, whether it be in the real world or further study at university. Sport as well. So again, that leads to all sorts of opportunities through studying sports science at university. Had students going down a physiotherapy kind of route. We've had students from that course going on to study sports journalism as well. And we also have engineering, which we've got some students that'll be talking about that a little later on as well, which is another hugely successful and popular course. So that's the kind of main timetable that a student will undertake there. And to supplement this, they also have an option of choosing 2 or 3 IB subjects, and they can choose these from any discipline. We do ask the students to choose 2 subjects at a high level. The reason being is just when it comes to that final university application or that steps into the world of work, internships, that by having 2 higher IB subjects and the BTEC with the IB core, which I'll talk about in a second, it just gives the students a really well-rounded and strong qualification. I said I'm a huge advocate for this course. I think it's a very well-balanced curriculum, and you know, I think the students that undertake it really do engage with it. Much like on the IB diploma program, where the students undertake an extended essay, we have a core on the IBCP, and it's split between service learning. We have a reflective project where the students are encouraged to look up an ethical issue that's to do with their program of study. So students doing business can look at anything really, from issues over advertising. Students doing media can look at big issues and debates which we see in the media to do with, you know, the way that sort of Hollywood plays its hand with things and representation, and such a huge variety of issues. It's a really kind of engaging project that the students do. And they also undertake language development, which is a course where the students are learning a language, and a course called personal and professional skills, where students do things like working on their CVs, working on communication skills and things like that. We also, in addition, have some partnerships, which again, the benefit of coming into an ESF school is that it's not just the expertise of West Island School that you're getting through the strength of ESF as an organisation. We've got some exclusive partnerships with external providers. Now, we have a number of courses. Some of these are online, so the students will take the course in their own time, often in evening sessions on Zoom, and then they'll be supported in school through timetabled lessons where they'll work with a member of staff, often one-on-one or in small groups, to make sure that we're giving them the level of support. We have contacts all over. We have the Sustainability and Management School, which is a really popular business kind of destination. The Federation of Sports in Australia. We have Embry-Riddle, which is the largest kind of pathway into that world of aeronautics and aviation maintenance. So if you're current West Island students on that course could be building and planning the planes of tomorrow, which is quite exciting, really. We have SCAD, which is the Savannah College of Art and Design, and also we have the Australian Guild of Music. So they're the online providers. We also have some providers who we work with on a face-to-face basis. And these courses, again, we've seen students undertaking these every year. So we work with the Hong Kong Academy for Performing Arts on a musical theatre course. We find we have a lot of students who are maybe taking a performing arts route at post-16. So they might be undertaking a BTEC in business studies, for example. They're doing an IB in theatre, and then they're potentially topping up this course as well at the APA, or they could just choose to do this course alone with IB subjects. The ICI, if you're familiar with the Pot Lam area, you've probably seen this fantastic building, which is a world-leading institution for catering and hospitality. Students can undertake a course there where they learn all about that industry. It's a really fantastic course for an introduction to kind of hospitality and management. And it's been really popular every year since we've brought it in. And if you do have students who are potentially interested in that course, then please do reach out for me, because I can encourage them and provide links for you to contact any of our providers for visits, whether it's face-to-face or online via Zoom as well. And, you know, and then that's the same with our final group that we work with, which is developing digital skills. So really popular courses, and again, just more exciting options for students to undertake to really give that kind of breadth of a curriculum, which I personally think makes us a really unique destination for students. As you can see, some example programs there that we've got, the typical, a typical workload for students. So Lorenzo, who we'll be speaking to in just a second, he's currently studying business. He's got English literature and language at standard level, and he's also undertaking film and history at higher level. Freya's a student who's doing performing arts, so that's BTEC qualification, English at higher, theatre at higher, and ESS. And Tom there, over on the right, who did the engineering diploma, and he combined that with physics at higher level, maths at higher level, and design and technology at higher level. So I think safe to say that students who are sort of fairly familiar with what they want to be doing next, and very much a kind of a career plan there for them. So let's hear from Lorenzo. Lorenzo, if you had to turn your microphone on and log on. There he is. So Lorenzo, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I think it's a first point that I want to make, and something that parents, a good point to make to them as well, is that you had a successful time in year 11. And, I think it's fair to say you were really proud of your GCSE results and you did really well. So you were in a position actually where you had the choice between studying the IB diploma program and the career related program. So what made you choose the CP?
I felt like since it was more related to careers, and already by year 10, 11, I was already sure of what I wanted to pursue in the future. So I felt that making my subjects a little bit smaller and taking a course in between the BTEC would help me. So I was really into film, so I thought that I could take a film for HL and focus strictly on that subject, while on the other hand, taking BTEC on business. So still having some general foundation through the subject of business. So I think it just limited me more on the specific subjects which I felt more passionate for, especially also history. I took history in GCSE, and I've always been pretty interested in it. So I think it's just helping me be more consistent by making my subjects a little bit smaller.
That's great. And how have you found the balance between the BTEC courses? Because again, perhaps some people aren't familiar. Obviously, there's no end of kind of year examinations in BTEC, but you do have continuous coursework deadlines. How have you found the balance between your BTEC study and your IB course of study?
So in year 10 and 11, I was actually taking BTEC engineering, so I already had quite a lot of experience with the type of coursework. So that's why I was also another reason why I was quite sure I could do BTEC, but it was kind of new to me to take business. I never took business in GCSE, so that was something new for me. But the balance between both IB and BTEC, I feel it's not really that difficult, because having a lot of time in class to listen to our teachers with BTEC business allows me to focus more on my coursework and not really stressing for examinations. So I think it's relatively balanced in between both of them.
That's brilliant. Brilliant. Glad to hear it's going well. And any ideas what's next? What's the destination potentially after you've finished here at WIS? What are you thinking further down the line?
100% trying to go into film, and maybe finding a good university in America, which is good for me, or anywhere else in the world which could help me with film.
Awesome. I look forward to having my credits read out by you when you're winning your Oscar, and the thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Lorenzo.
Thank you.
And I think it's a really important kind of to echo the point that Lorenzo made there about how actually he hadn't studied business studies before he came onto the CP course of study. And, you're seeing a student there who's really thriving since they've been on that course. So you will see new names, digital design, maybe haven't come across that before, a wide range of IB subjects on the diploma program as well that you can choose from. But the point is, these courses, those first few weeks in year 12, they're really designed to get the students up to the same level. So would you have a bit of an advantage if you'd studied the subject before? Of course. Does it make the world of difference when it comes to the end game 2 years down the line? The answer is no, not really, because there's so much more that goes into it in the 2 years that it's not make or break in the first week. So I would say to potential students, parents having these conversations, don't be afraid of new subjects. And if there's anything you want to find out about, please just get in touch, because it's our job to help tell you about them. Another pathway we've got is the International Diploma, which also ties into our kind of extended engineering pathway. So this is another option which is open to students, where they can undertake, it's 2 BTECs. So they do 1 BTEC as a double award, which is in terms of translating it to a sort of a more recognizable equivalent, would be the same as 2 A levels in the UK. And they do 1 BTEC as a single subject. So that's a total that comes in as kind of 3 A levels there. They can also supplement this by choosing to undertake additional IB courses as well. So again, a really wide range of study. They can also work with our external providers to just, again, really open up that curriculum. So just such a huge breadth there. Where's BTEC accepted? As you can guess, with it being a UK-based qualification, it's 95%, probably a bit more, of UK universities which accepted. It's included within the Russell groups of universities. So that was accepted back to 2015. We've had students go to Russell Group universities. I've seen students going into top universities studying business, going on to finance and economics courses. HKU and HKUST both accept the extended engineering course that we run. And also these courses are accepted in the USA, Canada, Australia, Europe, all over. There's a wide range of information available through the careers team, and also through just a bit of research with BTEC and Pearson themselves in terms of acceptance. As Chris mentioned earlier, we've had a student who's currently in New York studying film, and she was an IBCP student who did her BTEC in business studies as well. So, you know, starting off in business and then moving on to film in New York, not too shabby, if you ask me. So the destinations are really wide open for students. And just that information on screen there, just kind of reiterating those course options they've got. So this is really good for students who really like the...
Sorry, Tim. Perhaps could you just have a quick chat with the students we've got on that extended engineering program?
Yep. Could you pop the slide along, Timur? So I was just saying that it's a really well-balanced course for students that kind of have that clear vision of their next steps and who really think that the BTEC course of study is suitable for them. So we have some students joining us who are actually undertaking our engineering pathway, which is consists of them doing an extended diploma on a BTEC course. So that's the equivalent of 3 A levels in engineering. And they also undertake IB subjects with this, typically from maths and science. And so the students here will tell you about what they're studying. And then we've also got, because of the success of our engineering department over time and their lead practitioner there, Mr. Hopley, who's got extensive industry links that we're working. And now, fortunately, we're seeing Hong Kong reopen up to the world and the border reopening. We can't wait to get these links starting. And I think the students that will be joining us in August will have back that access that we had a few years ago of these amazing links. So like to invite our engineers to join us. So we've got Edward, Jonas, and Aurelian into the hot seat, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello.
How are we all? Okay.
Yeah, good.
Great.
Thank you.
Doing fine.
Yeah, good.
Good. So, Edward, do you want to start us off? Could you tell us what made you want to do this course?
Sure, right. So in year 11 and year 10, I'd already done the level 2 engineering course. So I had a bit of experience with engineering, and particularly our workshop and Mr. Hopley, who leads the engineering courseway. So our school has got a sort of great workshop and lots of great facilities. I mean, some of the tools that we've got are better than some universities out there. And it's not just in the workshop as well. The engineering course has got quite a few other units, things like sort of business and sciences and maths, which all join together really well to help with our engineering.
Thanks, that's great. So it's yeah, it is really well stocked down there. I think whenever I walk past, there's some new weird contraption being used that I have no idea how it works or what it does, but it seems to create some really effective stuff. So I know you guys are enjoying it. Aurelian, do you want to tell us a bit about what you think are some of the advantages of the course? Like what's worked well for you and how does that kind of BTEC and IB link work?
I think that BTEC is really interesting because like it's a more hands-on approach to the whole industry, especially for engineering. Like we got direct links with the world of work. For example, on Thursday, we're going to visit the TTI office in Hong Kong, which is the company that provides all the techware we use in the classroom. So that's going to be very interesting. And I think just like being able to be there and to see what it looks like past the point of school, of like a post-16 school, and seeing this opportunity to like go straight to work after school is just very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that access is been really useful. And how have you found the IB side of things? Because I think looking at that portfolio, the extended engineering plus maths and physics at high level, that might be enough to scare a few people, but how have you found it?
It is quite a big workload, but it's easy to manage because we have loads of time in school to work on the BTEC parts, so the extended engineering and all of our units. And we have maths and physics that's implemented into the engineering, which also ties in with math and physics HL. And in some cases, for example, in our physics unit, we're going beyond what you learn in physics HL. So that's very interesting, and it puts us ahead kind of for next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, going back to kind of something that's so key at West Island School of the personalization of the curriculum. When the course leader, Mr. Hopley, was writing this course, he was working with the physics teachers and with the maths teachers to get that collaboration. So it's given these guys a great level of kind of consistency across their course. Jonas, so we've heard a bit about the course, what you're doing at the moment. So what's next? What's the big plan post qualification?
For me personally, I'm probably going to take a gap year, possibly work in an engineering department, like the engineering related area, similar to how my brother did. And in terms of unis, I'll probably be looking to apply in Australia or Europe. But for example, my brother, who was in a couple of the slides, he got a full scholarship to Tasmania, to uni there based off his BTEC results, and a partial scholarship in RMIT in Melbourne, which he's going to now, and he's quite enjoying that. Yeah, that's what I plan on doing.
Awesome. Yeah, fantastic. Best of luck. I'm sure you will all do really well. So thanks a lot for your time, gentlemen, and good luck. I'm sure I'll see you in the workshop sometime this week.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you. So that was great to hear from the students there. And as I said, really showcasing that personalization. So I should say it's probably no surprise, having heard about how much work we put into the BTEC and the career-related program here and our design of the International Diploma, that we were awarded the Silver Certificate for International Institution of the Year in 2022, which is something we're hugely proud of. You know, BTEC has been, it's relatively new in the grand history of West Island School. So it's a really great achievement for not just the staff of the school and just the students, and a real testament to their hard work, because there's a lot of awarding criteria. It comes into historical data, it comes into what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, but they ultimately look at the outcomes of the students. They look at the courses, they look at the results, they look at the destination. So really proud of that one and everyone involved in it. And any other questions about that, you can log on to our post-16 options website, which is packed full of useful links, information, has curriculum overviews and things like that. And of course, you can get in contact with any of us directly as well, which I think the information's on the next slide. And I will pass it back to Sara there. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tim. Yes, and as you can see from what Tim was saying, there are so many options within the IBCP and the ID pathways. So please get in contact with us, or if you jump onto our school website, there's lots more information there. And behind all the work that we're doing, we've got a fantastic higher education team who really support our students every step of the way. So I'd like to just hand over now to Maria, who's in charge of admissions at West Island, and she's going to give you some information.
Hi, welcome everyone.
Maria, sorry, just before you start, I see we've still got 22 people on the call. And actually, whilst you're talking about admissions, if anybody's got a question, they're very welcome to pop it into the chat function, and we'll work on those questions as well. But over to you, Maria.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I'm aware that tonight for the people sign up, some of them already submitted their application. So please bear with me. I'm just going to spend a few minutes just to share some tips with other parents who are interested in submitting the applications after the webinar. Okay, next slide, please, Sara. Okay, so basically, according to ESF admissions policy and procedure, we admit students based on the date of birth, which is the year of birth, and also to find out which year they should be going into. Okay, so you can see that for the first three columns is actually the year group and the conversion in compared to ESF grading system, year 7 to year 13, and compared to a local school system or IB MYP school. Okay, so the fourth column actually is for the year group and the year of birth for the application for next academic year. So if your child is currently will be finishing GCSE or completing Form 4 or Secondary 4 in local school, or completing the last year of the MYP education in other international school, and born in 2006 or 2007, you are welcome to submit your application for our Year 12 admission for next academic year. Next slide, please, Sara. Okay, so the second criteria would be you would need to submit, when you submit your application, you will also need to submit the address proofs. So here on this slide shows that these areas are actually West Island School zone, okay? So most of the outlying islands, except Dong Chung, will be covered by, will be under West Island School zone. And then most of the Western District of Hong Kong and the Southern districts in Hong Kong are also covered by West Island School zone. One thing I need to in particularly point out is that if you are living in central or mid-levels, we are actually sharing the school zone with Island School at the moment. So if you are interested to clarify whether your applications will go to Island School or West Island School, please give me a call or send me your address and I will clarify that for you. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, all right. So all your applications would need to be submitted through ESF online application system. It is a system managed by ESF. So all applications, whether it is this year or next academic year, should all go through to ESF general application. However, if you have some, sibling, the children who are younger, who are interested in applying year 7 for next academic year, then you will go through ESF central application. Okay, if you have any question that you would like to raise, say for example, you won't be able to get through the payment for the application, etc., you feel free to contact ESF admissions hotline. Next slide, please. Okay, I frequently got questions asked by parents whether, what if I'm out of, West Island School zone, can we still choose West Island, to join the school? The answer is yes, but first thing you need to do is that on your application form, you need to clearly identify that you are interested to accept an alternative school and choose West Island School as your alternative school. So once our waiting list is clear and whenever we have a space available immediately, we will contact ESF and ask them to divert all the applications who have clearly indicated they're interested in the West Island, and they will be processed by our school. Next slide, please. Okay, so if you want to spend like 5 to 8 minutes to go through the whole admission process, I mean, filling in the forms, etc., I just need to bring it to you that because the application form is actually quite long, that I think about it would take about 30 minutes sometimes to complete the form. And you also need to have all your supporting documents ready before you do this application. So if you want to know the whole process, you could actually go to the ESF admission homepage, and there's a video there quickly show you all the steps on how to do it. Okay, currently we have this is showing you that whether we still have places available. So for next year, year 12, we definitely will have spaces available. This is mainly because historically, we usually have average about 20 year 11 students leaving us and going back to the UK to do A-level. And it is quite common because some parents may want to have their children back to UK to do the sixth form, so that they might be able to do some to apply for some reduced fees for the university applications in the future. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so another common question I got asked is that when will you process the next year application? We will start doing it in late February or early March. So it will consist of 2 parts. First of all, is to do an English and Maths written assessment. It could be either done in school or go through it online. I will send you an admission invite. And also there will be an individual child interview and also a parents meeting with one of our SLT or IBCP coordinator or Tim Collins or Sara, Ellison or Helen Devine-Costa. The details will be laid out to you once you receive my admissions invite. Okay, and also some parents are always very interested in coming to the school and have a school tour and wants to know, have a touch and feel about our energy and meet with our students. So we start doing regular school tour and also a coffee session with Chris as well. So the next, the next one will be, should be 19th of January, which is this coming Thursday. If you are still interested, you are welcome to sign up. The QR code is actually on our Facebook. And if you are not available this Thursday, please tag on our Facebook and we will continuously posting our admission events on our West Island School Facebook website. Okay, and also I would encourage you, if you have any question, please do send me an email, or in particularly go to West Island School homepage and find this icon called admission chat, and then book a session with me. I'm more than happy to, to answer any of your questions, because sometimes I've got a lot of parents telling me that they call me, but I'm not around the desk and won't be able to answer your question. So I'd rather you just, book a time with me. It will be locked in my calendar and I will be sit there waiting for you and happy to answer any of your questions. But of course, you are feel free to call me as well. If you could not find me, you could anytime leave me a message or email me again. Okay. All right. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, Maria. So we're going to stop the scrolling presentation, invite everybody to put their cameras on. And I can see that we haven't got any questions in the question and answer, which must mean we've given everybody exactly what they need. So well done, students. Super proud of you. Always have been, always will be. You are absolutely smashing your courses and just being yourselves in our school. So thank you so much for representing yourselves so well, right behind you all. Thank you for being here this evening. Sara and Helen and Tim, any final things you want to sum up with before we wish everybody a good night?
Thanks for your time this evening. And if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to get in contact with us.
Okay, well, listen, we wish you the best of Chinese New Year's. So it just leaves me to say Gong Hei Fat Choi to all of our audience, and may this be the year of the rabbit. Live long, prosper, and be peaceful. Happy Chinese New Year to you all. Goodbye.